Samsung has used the same 5,000 mAh battery in its Ultra phones for 7 years straight. 7 years. And according to the newest leaks, that's finally about to change. Along with the camera, the chip, and even the lineup itself. This is everything we know about the Galaxy S27 Ultra so far. Let's start with the design because this is reportedly the biggest visual shakeup the Ultra line has seen in years. Multiple leakers are now pointing to a horizontal camera bar replacing the vertical lens cluster Samsung has used since the S23. The shift isn't just cosmetic. It's rumored to make room for built-in magnets, finally bringing native Qi 2 style alignment to the Ultra without needing a magnetic case. On the display side, expect a 6.9-inch dynamic AMOLED panel with the same buttery 1 Hz to 120 Hz adaptive refresh range we've come to expect. There's also chatter about a lighter overall build, something fans have been asking for since the Ultra started creeping past 230 grams. Now the part most people care about, the cameras. Leaks point to a 200-megapixel main sensor carrying over, but the real story is the telephoto setup. Samsung is rumored to be ditching the long-serving 3x telephoto lens in favor of a 5x lens, a meaningful jump for anyone who actually uses zoom shots regularly. There's also talk of something called ALOP, short for All Lenses on Prism, a periscope-style technique that could improve zoom quality while keeping the camera module thinner. And in a slightly controversial move, some reports suggest Samsung might trim the lens count down to a triple camera system, simplifying the array rather than adding more glass. Under the hood, the S27 Ultra is expected to run on the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 6 Pro, built on a 2nm process, a notable jump in efficiency from this year's chip. Clock speeds are rumored to approach 5 GHz paired with the new LPDDR6 RAM standard, which should mean faster multitasking and noticeably better power efficiency, not just raw speed. For storage, expect the usual spread, likely starting around 256 GB and topping out near 1 TB for the people who really push their phones. Here's the headline leak. Samsung has kept the Ultra locked at 5,000 mAh since the Galaxy S20. That's 7 generations in a row. The newest reports suggest that's finally changing, with figures floating anywhere from 6,000 up to nearly 7,000 mAh, reportedly using silicon-carbon battery technology, the same approach rival brands have used to push past 7,000 and even 10,000 mAh without making phones bulkier. If even the lower end of that range turns out to be accurate, it would be the single biggest quality of life upgrade the Ultra line has seen since multi-day battery life became a real conversation in the smartphone world. On charging, wired speeds are rumored to stay around 65 watts. Samsung has historically prioritized battery longevity over raw charging speed, and that doesn't appear to be changing. The bigger story is wireless. Qi 2.2 with native magnets is the current rumor, which would let the S27 Ultra snap onto magnetic chargers and accessories without needing a case, closing a gap that's existed since the S25. Software-wise, expect Android 17 running on One UI 9.5 out of the box, with Samsung continuing its promise of 7 years of OS and security updates. One interesting addition is Polar ID, a facial recognition system designed to be far harder to spoof with photos or masks than current Face Unlock, which could finally make Samsung's facial recognition genuinely competitive with dedicated hardware solutions like Face ID. Now here's where it gets interesting because alongside the Ultra, Samsung is also expected to launch a brand new model called the Galaxy S27 Pro. And it's basically Samsung borrowing a page straight out of Apple's playbook. According to Leaker Ice Universe, the S27 Pro is set to feature a 6.47-inch OLED display, noticeably smaller than the Ultra's massive 6.9-inch panel. Picture the size gap between an S10 Plus and an S20 Ultra, and that's roughly the difference we're talking about here. So the Pro is shaping up to be an Ultra-level phone in a more compact body. It's expected to inherit the same privacy display technology, but it ditches the S Pen entirely. On cameras, the Pro is rumored to share the Ultra's new 200-megapixel main sensor and 50-megapixel ultra-wide, but the telephoto lens is where the two models split. While the Ultra is rumored to move to a 5x zoom camera, it's still unclear what the Pro gets. It might land a newer 3.5 times zoom sensor Samsung already supplies to other phone makers, or, if history repeats itself, it could just inherit the same aging 3 times telephoto Samsung's used for years. Until that's nailed down, the Pro's zoom camera is still a genuine question mark. There's also word that Samsung might hold off on major display panel upgrades this generation to manage costs, which tracks since the S26 Ultra already introduced big jumps like the newer display panel and the privacy display just last year. Bottom line, if this all plays out, Samsung's lineup grows to 4 phones, mirroring how Apple splits the iPhone and iPhone Pro family. The one difference? Apple gives both Pro iPhones the exact same camera system. Whether Samsung does the same here is still up in the air. As for timing, Samsung typically unveils its Ultra phones in late January or February, so expect the Galaxy S27 Ultra to follow that pattern in early 2027. Pricing rumors are extremely early and should be treated with heavy skepticism, but the one figure currently circulating suggests a starting price around $1,300 for the base storage tier, climbing past $1,800 for the top 1 terabyte model. For context, that would represent a real price jump if it holds. So to sum it up, bigger battery, redesigned cameras, a new chip, and possibly an entirely new phone joining the lineup. None of this is official yet, and a lot can change between now and Unpacked. But if even half of these leaks hold up, this could be Samsung's most significant Ultra upgrade in years. What feature matters most to you? The battery, the camera, or the new Pro model? Drop it in the comments and subscribe so you don't miss the moment this gets official.